The Katherine Robertson Award, established in memory of Katherine Katie Robinson, English Department Chair from 1948 to 1963, is one of the highest academic honors a writer can achieve at the Woodstock Academy. The 2021 Robertson Essay challenged writers to either explore how do the arts heal us, or to write an essay which might answer the question, what wisdom would we impart to the world if we knew it was our last chance? If we had to vanish tomorrow, what would we want as our legacy? I now invite Sophia Mawson to the stage to present her essay, Unity with Tranquility.
Thank you, Ms. Singleton. Good morning, members of the Board of Trustees, administration, faculty, family, friends, and fellow classmates of 2021. If I'm being honest, there's a part of me that wishes I could just turn my camera off right now and mute my microphone. But here I am, in person, with my microphone turned on. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Sophia Mawson, and I am honored to deliver this year's commencement address. For a moment, allow your mind to visualize a symphony with various instruments contributing to the creation of a sound so beautiful that the listeners are brought to tears. This is the epitome of unity with tranquility. Different instruments being played together in peace and harmony. How desperately does humanity crave the presence of peace in our families and friendships, between different races and different countries, cultures, and ethnicities. So often peace is replaced with conflict. Today, the magnitude of anxiety and unrest in the world is painstakingly high. And with uncertainty lingering in the atmosphere, we must be prepared. We must stand together as one unit, one body, one creation. And at the core of this is mere peace. If we can be at peace with ourselves and with others, we will be resilient when faced with unexpected challenges. As Paul the Apostle advised the Romans in 58 AD, so far as it depends on you, live peaceably with all. There is something so subtle, yet so detrimental that nearly every one of us is guilty of doing on the daily: comparing. In biology class, I learned about how an enzyme inhibitor distorts the active site and disrupts the rate of reaction. The same is true with comparison. It distorts our view of one another and disrupts the peace among us. When we compare ourselves to others, we make ourselves susceptible to both pride and discontent as we adjust our actions, our words, and our appearances to mirror those of others. When I first entered high school, comparison was the primary basis on which I made many decisions. To me, everything in life, my outfit, my grade, my Instagram post, my job, was a competition. But this mentality only worked when I thought I was winning, when I thought I had the best of everything. In middle school, comparison often led me to feel like a big fish in a small pond, my pride intact. But in high school, my pride quickly morphed into discontent. The small pond of middle school became an ocean. How could I possibly compare myself to all of these fish, to all of these people with various talents and abilities that I don't have? I began living out the realities of popular cliches such as, you can't win them all and winning isn't everything. And after this realization, I made every effort to put an end to my unhealthy comparison game. Striving to replicate this person's athletic ability or that person's good sense of style is synonymous to a symphony in which the flute tries to sound like the bass, or the harp tries to sound like the cello. If every musician played the same notes on the same instruments, the harmonious sound created by the combination of wind, string, brass, and percussion would be replaced by only one part on one instrument. This sound would be rather stale and mundane. There is a purpose and a value in each individual part played by the instruments. Their uniqueness in both appearance and sound is what constitutes the splendor of a symphony. And this is the same with people. When our differences are embraced, something incredible occurs. But fellow classmates, in order to embrace diversity, comparison must first be eliminated. As a little girl, my parents would tell me that we are all fearfully and wonderfully made. And whether I was wrestling with overconfidence or insecurities, this quote would put me in line by simply adjusting my perspective. I later learned that this quote was written in 1048 BC by King David, who struggled with comparison himself. But if we choose to authentically believe that we are all fearfully and wonderfully made, we will be content in who we are, finding that there's no need for comparison. But eliminating comparison with others does not imply that we should eliminate having compassion on others. The distinction between comparison and compassion is largely defined by what our focus is on, self or others. If we are solely focused on ourselves, comparison will continue to pollute our minds with lies about who we are. But if we shift our perspective to become others-oriented, we will learn to understand our own emotions and those of others with discernment and empathy, emotional intelligence. As experts in this field, Dr. Travis Bradbury and Dr. Jean Greaves noted, emotional intelligence is the something in each of us that is a bit intangible. It affects how we manage behavior, navigate social complexities, and make personal decisions that achieve positive results. Demonstrating emotional intelligence is comparable to the musicians in a symphony knowing when to accompany and when to solo, when to back off and when to play. If everyone tried to solo at the same time, it would be chaotic, absolute mayhem. But contrarily, if nobody stepped up to play the solos, melody may not be heard, and the music would be lacking and uninspired. In both of these scenarios, people are unaware of which parts are important to play and when to play them. And yet, without even realizing it, humanity creates a similar cacophony with an unawareness of self, others, and surroundings. It is no wonder that peace and unity are struggling to stay alive in our world today. Every time we one-up somebody or talk over them, we're stealing their spotlight and overpowering their solo. But on the other hand, when we fail to realize that it is our responsibility to step up and say something, we may be messing up the melody of a group plan or project. Fellow graduates, these behaviors stand in the way of the harmonious tranquility that stems from working together with communication and discernment. Fortunately, the elasticity of the mind allows for our levels of emotional intelligence to be adjusted. If we strive for empathy to drive our thoughts and actions, harmony will thrive. But the question is, when confronted with opportunities to compare ourselves to others, will we cave or will we be compassionate? In response to this, my father said, resist the temptation to yield to ourselves and seek to understand the plight of others. My father, a wise teacher, has always been relentless about the importance of empathy and selflessness. It is his influence that fostered within me a passion to share with others the value of cultivating peace and unity in the fabric of humankind. There is something to be said about the foundation on which humanity stands. After being severely shaken by the unprecedented events of 2020, we are left with the essential tasks of repair and restoration. If we don't stand for peace and unity, humanity will collapse in the discord of disunity. Abraham Lincoln believed similarly. Before the Civil War, he gave a speech in which he made the powerful statement, "A house divided against itself cannot stand." Let us not be divided, but united. Let us not be selfish, but selfless. Only then can we mend the foundation of humanity so that when uncertainties arise, we can rely on each other. Class of 2021, this is our symphony. So play your instrument and play your part. Embrace diversity with compassion and love as we harmonize with each other, producing beautiful music in unity with tranquility. Thank you.
Thank you, Sophia.